Eventually came confirmation. He would return to Williams for the last 3 Grand Prix of the season. What did the experts make of that?
The guy is outstanding. I don't believe, in fact, age is a real factor. I think state of mind and your desire to be competitive is ultimately what's important. Now, he's not a spring chicken for sure, but he's out there competing against guys that are in their early 20s and he's beating them. He's got masses of experience. He's got intelligence in a race car. That comes through experience, and therefore I see no problem with age as a factor. Remember, Fangio retired from Formula One racing when he was 47. He won a championship at 46. There's a lot more mileage in Nigel Mansell, Formula One, or whichever form he chooses to race in.
Really, Damon Hill has got to be given preference by the Williams team in Spain and in Japan and in Australia, and by definition that means to say that Nigel Mansell will have to defer to Damon Hill, and it's not in Nigel's nature to defer to anyone. Nigel is a racer, and like all of them he wants to win, and it's going to be extraordinarily difficult for him to accept a situation where he can't win in order to enable Damon to have the maximum points. So I would expect, hopefully, Nigel, being the provocative chap that he is, to see him racing with Damon Hill, making it very clear that he could get past and win if he wanted to, if he was allowed to, but not actually doing so. I'm expecting, hopefully, the last 3 Grand Prix of the year to be enormously exciting and full of action, because with Schumacher back, the World Championship is going to go down to the wire. Nigel is going to be participating in a support form. And you also have to remember that in my view, I don't know whether Nigel's actually signed a contract for Formula One next year or not. I don't think he has. And if he hasn't, and assuming he wants to go on in Formula One next year, that means that he will be judged on his performance in the last 3 races. So he's got to walk this narrow line between impressing and demonstrating that he could win, but without actually doing so. So that at the end of the season, Frank will say, "You're my man, Nigel. I want you in Formula One in 1995, and I hope that happens."
And on a personal level?
Oh, on a personal level, it is well known that I carry a considerable torch for Nigel wherever he goes. I like him as a man. I admire him enormously as a racing driver. And he's got something that is desperately lacking in Formula One at the present moment, and that's excitement and provocation. Wherever Nigel is, something is happening. A wheel nut is coming off, or a wheel is coming off, or he's getting involved with coming together with somebody, or he's having a row with someone. There is always something to be interested about with Nigel, and sadly that is not the case with most of them at the present moment. He's a showman, and that's what Formula One needs.
But the question is, will he win one of his last 3 Grand Prix of the season?
One of the last 3 Grand Prix? I think really it'll depend on what happens to Damon Hill. If Damon is successful in Estoril and gets 10 points, the situation is very clear. Williams' team have got to maximise their support for Damon. But let's say circumstances prevent Damon from being the winner, then it's a different issue. And I would expect Nigel to go 100% to win for the team, but also for himself.
Nigel Mansell will win the Australian Grand Prix.